Hey, Inspire at Random. Okay, so this is episode one, once over again. All right. And I'm not sure what happened with my first recording, but, anyways, in a very positive way of looking at things, it's just another opportunity to do things once over again. And this has been my experience in manifestation. Whenever I have been manifesting for stuff, and let's say, if I go through my daily life, I look out for angel numbers, I look out for signs, I look out for deja vu instances. And actually, when I mentioned this thing about deja vu instances, some of you may be able to think of one deja vu instance or two. And if that is the case, if you have ever seen it in your mind, but you actually experienced it in the real, that basically could be an experience of yours where you actually were able to manifest something. So a lot of people who are coming to my lessons, perhaps you're new to manifestation and you don't know, what kind of breakthroughs you must get to, what kind of mental tricks or mental tweaks, or even like lifestyle changes. But while I will say that manifestation is like a lifestyle, but if I let you have an idea that you may have done it before, then it's a lot less intimidating. It's a lot easier to do. And let me just quickly close this toilet door because the thing's gonna storm. And by the way, if you're I don't know, if you're a bit if you're a bit spiritual, some people say like rain it brings good things. So the fact that it is about to storm, I heard the signs. I think it's a good sign, and we're all in the right place today on this program. So, being able to do this once over again, I want to make this better than the one before. Today, in this first episode, I'm going to be teaching you like the ground zero. So, the ground zero is the most important lesson of all when it comes to manifestation, because this is like your step one. This is like laying the ground. Like, before we make a distance to our destination, first we must know where we are going. So today is actually identifying where we want to go and where we are at. I'm going to be giving a few different systems to you so that this can help you to identify like what is it you really want to manifest. And a lot of you may have some ideas, but the ideas may not be very clear. So I will also give you some steps and some prompts to help you to identify like what exactly it is that you want. The most powerful tip I can give you is to be absolutely unapologetic about it. Don't worry what anyone has to say about your manifestation, because this is your manifestation, not anyone else's. So, to get things started, let me begin with a little story. Not really a story, actually, it's a movie that I think you can relate to. You may have seen this movie starring Ryan Reynolds. It's called Free Guy. If you look into the description of the movie online about Free Guy, it basically tells you it's about a person named Guy. He's a bank teller who found out that he is a non-playable character in what do you call that? A video game. Let me just read out this thing which I screenshot just now. Okay. No, I did screenshot it somewhere. Okay. So, a bank teller who discovers he's actually a background player in an open world video game decides to become the hero of his own story. All right. And as we talk about Free Guy, I want to share with you like, okay, this guy, he is what is known as a non-playable character, NPC, right? So some of those of you who play games, you may have heard of the term NPC. And I want to relate with you a real life story. When I was taking my dog for a walk this evening, I have this neighbor. He is really like an NPC because whenever I pass by his house, he says the same things every day. He'll say, "Oh, you're going home already?" And when he sees dog walking, oh wow, they're the same breed. That's so adorable, right? Every day he says the same breed. He says the same. This neighbor of mine, he's like a total NPC. So when he sees my dog, every day he says, "Oh, you're going back already? Oh my God, they're the same breed. That's so adorable." And today, when I went past, um, his Malamute was not around because his daughter apparently took the Malamute out to the groomer, and they were not back. So I said hi, and he said, "Oh, the dogs are not in today because my daughter took them out to the groomer." I said, "Oh, as a matter of fact, my dog went to the groomer today as well." And he says, "Oh, they went to the groomer. So they might be back in only in half an hour or so." He's a total NPC. And you may have heard or experienced some NPC people in your life. We know that there are people, but in their personality, they're just like an NPC. An NPC in the game is someone who goes around the same behaviors, the same statements, the same mannerisms on a daily basis, and obviously they're achieving the same results. So today, the fact that you're here tells me that you're here to achieve something extra out of your life. You are not content with simply being an NPC, or perhaps you realize that at many points in your life, you just have been an NPC. And what is it to be an NPC? All right, let me run through this about what is NPC. Okay, an NPC in the real life as we know it. Okay, and in manifestation, we often say life is a simulation. It's just like in a game, right? The game, an NPC is a character in the game, but in real life, many people are just NPCs because they're the same people doing the same things, doing the same mannerisms, getting the same results. So the way to switch out of becoming an NPC is to do what like Guy in the movie Free Guy did, to realize that he had the power to choose. He had the power to co-create because from the every point that he does something different from the norm, everything else around him changes because the players will have to play in a different way. The other NPCs may have to be rerouted in a different way. And in this way, you can see that in your life, by doing something different every day, we are constantly co creating our destiny. We are reinventing our fate. And we are not subject to the same results that we have been getting if we would only change our life on a daily basis consciously, live very consciously. So when we live very consciously, what do we live consciously toward? Okay, we want to live consciously toward a set of goals, not actually a set of goals, but more like a vision. Why did Guy get so motivated to change everything? Why did he get so motivated to break out of his norm? All right. Um, Basically, I think it was romance. He had a crush on a character, and basically that was his call to call to adventure. It took him on his hero's journey. So as we discuss manifestation, and your call to adventure could be because of it could be something that is good or bad that has happened in your life or to the life of one of the people around you. It could be like for me, one of my call to adventure before, when I made the most money I ever did in a month. I made a six-figure month in my previous business, and this was like about over it was about a decade ago, just before my grandma was not so well, right? So when she was warded, and that was the motivation that I wanted to be able to put her into a better, higher class ward in the hospital. And on top of that, I wanted to be able to take her from hospital back to home, and to be able to hire her like a professional healthcare to live in, basically, to enable her to spend her last months in the comfort of her home. And that was my big motivation. And that made me like constantly think, how can I get this, how can I get this, how can I get this. And the mind is such a powerful thing because the mind is resourceful. we are not just the same as animals. I mean, animals, they, like I mentioned in my most recent YouTube video, like there was, if you heard about some horses that got bitten on the back by a bat, then they ran for like tens and tens of miles until they exhausted themselves and died of exhaustion. The actual blood loss was very, very small, but for like for us, okay, so sorry to digress. Like yeah, but the whole point I was trying to get onto was to illustrate that we just need to break the pattern. We need to be self-aware, and like the easiest way to fuck up your life is like to if you ask, like, how do you get ordinary results? All right, how do you get ordinary results in life? Just to simply, if you how do you have a life that's the same as everyone else? Just do the same things as everyone else. All right, um, speak as the same way as everyone else, and that way you're assured of getting the results that everyone else gets. So if you want to be average, be average. But the fact that you're here tells me that you do not want to be average. So let's be something more than average. Let's create ourselves. Let's be distinctive. Let's be us. And who is us, right? Um, I would like you to write, a, a journal. Literally write a journal. I have my book over here, and the story behind this is actually kind of interesting. I actually manifested this. Why? Because I didn't pay for it. How is that possible? How did I get this and not pay for it? Because I ordered it, but I ordered one that was like twice as thick as this and with a buckle. And when I informed them about informed the e-commerce company that you sent me the wrong item, um, so I was like, okay, can I send it back? So no, don't worry about it, keep it. So I kept it. So the first thing is like, who is you? If you're not the average person, who is you? Um, I would like you to be able to write out uh, who you are about, and you can be defined by your attitude, your what kind of lifestyle do you lead, what kind of food do you eat, and I would like you to talk about the vision that you have, not your reality, but the vision. So to help you to come up with this, I'm going to be using something that in the English language they teach people in writing your essays and stories, because in English they will always say that you will do the 6 W's when you write something, and the 6 W's are, I saved it: who, why, no, sorry, what, who, why, where, when, and how. All right, the 6 W's: what, who, why, where, when, and how. And in this instance, for manifestation, the 6 W's is in a different order. It's actually like so. All right, the first thing is the why, the second is the what, third is the how, the fourth is where, the fifth is who, the sixth is when. All right. So first and foremost, why do you want to manifest? Why do you want to manifest? Feel free to take a pen and paper and write this out. I'll be talking at a reasonable pace so that you have enough time to scribble this down. But otherwise, the replay will be accessible to you. So no worries. You can always watch this on repeat, or you can actually pause this and resume as you have written, because the recording will still be there. All right. So why do you want to manifest? I mentioned that when I made my 6-figure month over a decade ago, it's because I wanted to upgrade my grandma. I wanted to take her home. Wanted to let her spend her last days of her life in her home, a more comfortable place than the hospice, for instance. So, what is your big reason? Could be education, could be whatever reasons, could be noble, not noble, but obviously noble reasons are best. Number two, what do you want to manifest? What do you want to manifest? So first we started with the why. Now we're on to what do you want to manifest? Okay. And to give you a guide of what, how about some things like, okay, what kind of house? What kind of travel? What kind of car? What kind of education for kids or yourself, perhaps? What are your utilities? Um, what kind of recreation? What kind of clothes? What kind of insurance? What kind of savings? All right. What kind of food? So let's recap this once again in case you didn't get all this. So to give you a guideline of what do you want to manifest, think in terms of your lifestyle. What kind of house are you going to be living in? What kind of travel? Hey, hello there if you just came in. What kind of travel would you like to be going for as compared to now? So the vision of what is ideal. So ideal house, ideal travel. What's your ideal car? What does it look like? Write it out. What is your ideal education, either for yourself or your kids or whatever? Utilities, your recreation. What are your recreation activities? Maybe right now you have no recreation or you have some recreation, but you want better recreation. So, what is better recreation for you? Write it out. Um, what kind of clothes do you see yourself wearing in a very ideal situation? Totally unapologetic. What kind of watch do you wear? What kind of insurance do you have, and why do I say insurance? Because think about this: if you achieve all that you want in this life, and you have upgraded this lifestyle of yourself and all the people around you, I mean, that's your why, isn't it? Because for most of us, we don't just want to be rich and abundant by ourselves. We want our close people, our close family, maybe if for those of you who are married, maybe along your spouse and your kids, you want all these people in your close nucleus to have a better life. And insurance is so important because if you suddenly go from your current income to 10x of that, to 30x of that, okay, maybe some of you are making like 40K a year, and if you got to 1 million a year, right, this is a very huge jump. And the lifestyle of 1 million a year is definitely different from 40K a year. And if anything happened, you would hate, no, I would hate to see that your loved ones would have to return to a life that they were from before, because that would be like a drop, and it is kind of depressing. So if you love them enough, you would look into insurance. And this is something that I admit that I didn't look into enough as well, and I should be actually paying more attention to this. And this is actually a huge aspect for me as well, because I would like to be able to ensure that if anything happens to me in this life, my family would not have to go back down in the quality of life. So, and if anything at all, it's just great savings, because you're going to have so much funds more than now, so many more times more funds more than now. And insurance, if anything at all, is a tax deductible thing. And or it could even be like in trust, but most of the time, life insurance, you can actually put a lot of a considerable amount of funds there, and it would actually get you a very reasonable and safe return. Okay. And then savings, most of you are not probably saving right now. And a lot of people in this world, and statistically, like in the US, like over 60% of people wouldn't have enough money to last more than a few months or last more than a year. So um, let's make this habit. All right, when you get to that point of the life where you want to be at, let's save at least 10%. And let's just say 10%. So what is the ideal income that you see yourself having, and what is 10%? What is 1 year worth of that? Write that number down. um, and food, maybe you're like going to certain cafes right now, not because you like the food there, but it's what you can afford. But in a best case scenario, let's say you're probably thinking that, all right, I don't, I'm sick and tired of going to this cafe. I want to, I want to eat in a place where the ambiance is good, the service is good, and how much is that going to cost me? And let's say tips, bottle service, whatever. What is that going to cost for an outing like that? Write it down. Let's say you did it once a week. Figure out how much it costs. So to share with you about the what, okay, and the reason why I'm spending so much time talking about the what here is because this is actually the most important thing. Because um, it has been said by Bob Proctor in his words, but similar things have been said by many manifestation coaches out there as well. If you can see it in your mind, you can have it in your hand. So we need to create this blueprint. And what we're doing here, right now, if you do not do anything ever again, if you do not even follow up with the rest of my Be Inspiration lessons, this alone uh, would put you in very good stead for getting a great manifestation. Hey, hello, if you just came in, and do say hi in the comments. I would like to see where you're tuning in from, and what are some of the things that you would like to manifest. All right. So I'm doing this recording like for the second time because somehow something happened to my earlier recording, but it gives me the opportunity to repair this and to make it even better. So I would like to give you some good examples from myself, and I would like you to think in very deeply. I've given you some examples in terms of your savings, your food, but let's talk a little bit about your house and your car. So some of you do not have an idea, and this is the second concept that I want to give you. Like, let's talk about car, for instance. A lot of people that I know of who I've asked them about manifestation, because they're so used to living life in a certain way for so many years. When I ask you, like, when I ask my friend, for example, um, what's your dream car? And they actually find it very hard to answer. It's not because they don't know, and it's not because that you don't know, but you're actually afraid to say it. All right. And maybe it's either you not afraid not if it's not because you're afraid to say it, it's because you did not dare to allow yourself to consider what is your ideal car, what is your ideal house. So I'm going to put it in a different perspective, because if we put everything in a negative way, like in the opposite way, let's reverse engineer, shall we? So this is fun. So imagine if someone told you, like, or if I told my friend, I did this with my friend. So I was like, okay, you never thought of you, or you cannot name me what is your dream car. You can't even name me what is the make. Okay, would you like a would you like a Toyota Corolla or a Vios? So my friend was like, fuck no. I was like, we're getting somewhere, because if you know what you do not want, then maybe you could, for the start, write down anything better than a Toyota Vios or a Toyota Corolla. Anything better than that. And so I asked my friend, anything better than that? Okay, good. Um, how about a Toyota Camry? My friend was like, are you kidding me? Okay, fine. How about a Toyota Fortuner? And then my friend was like, no, that's not inspiring. I just don't want a freaking Corolla. I know it's the most reliable car in the world, but I don't want that. I want something better than that. And by the way, no offense to Toyota fans out there, but I mean, if you had the power to choose, it's like, what do you want to be? So my friend was like, probably a Mercedes. I was like, okay, sedan, SUV, and I said, okay, which one? And my friend was like, well, I don't know the models very well. I said, well, there's the GLC, there is the GLE, there is a GLS, there's a G wagon. And my friend was like, you know what? I don't really follow all this automobile stuff, but I've heard of the G wagon. And you know what? Let's just make it the G wagon. Okay, great, the G wagon. So This is, and then I was like, so I asked him, okay, what color of the G wagon would you like? And my friend was like, okay, if I really had the G wagon, I would like to have it as a wrap. So the original color doesn't really matter. I was like, okay, what kind of wrap would you like to have? I would like to have a vinyl wrap that is like shimmering green. I was like, shimmering green, what do you mean? Is it like brush green or something? Is it? No, like glitter. It's smooth with glitter. It's smooth. It's like from certain angles it's black, certain angles it's green. And okay, right now as we're doing this, first of all, when my friend did this with me, I could see that my friend was making progress. And as we're doing this together, like maybe for those of you who know what is a Mercedes G Wagon, you're also imagining what it looks like. And my friend went on to say the rims sprayed black. And I want those big oversized wheels. That I said, are you talking about the Brabus oversized wheel package? I don't know, but I've seen them at the car show. Maybe it's the Brabus oversized wheels. I was like, okay, fantastic. So this, my friends, this is how we want to, introspect, open up yourself to the new possibilities. And this is just about car, all right? Like for travel, for myself, like I wrote for all these things, whether it's house, I actually wrote down I in order to find out all the details, right? Um, the house, I have a certain house in mind. I went to the place. I physically, I went inside, toured around, and I kind of get away with it because I drive a respectable car. It's a BMW X5, and it makes a nice sound. So I I was formerly quite wealthy, so I can kind of like carry myself across quite well. So even though right now I'm not at the results that I want to be at, but I see myself getting there, and I know that I constantly do these things. Okay, if you're constantly aware of negative, you are going to be negative. But if you're constantly interested in or aware of people, of being rich. You could be being aware of being rich by watching documentaries of people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, etc. Things that inspire you, or like for example, there's an influencer online, Carl Runfeld. For those of you into cryptocurrency, Carl Runfeld made his millions, and he started out just as a guy in the supermarket with a dream that he didn't want to do this for his whole life, and he eventually, went on a series of things in his life, like a ladder of success, and now he even owns a Formula 2 team. That is so cool. So um, that is the result, and he saw all this in his mind. He's a big advocate of manifestation, and so are a lot of people like Oprah Winfrey, Conor McGregor, Steve Harvey, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. All these people have manifested their success because they all had a vision before they achieved it. So we have to live in the vision. In my part four, I talk a lot about this living in the vision, the thesis of the result, a lot more as well. But in today, we're basically just